Hey everyone, Martelli here. So there's been a lot of news in terms of patch updates and class changes and game changes that have been announced recently. So I thought it'd be a good time to kind of go through my thoughts are on the next patch that's coming out in 2 weeks. And there is some Shaman changes in terms of the talents. So I'm not going to go through any other patch notes, but I just wanted to go through the talents that I'm going to be picking and changing to for the next patch. If you guys wanna see what the new talents are gonna look like and kind of want to play around with the talent trees, you can go to wowhead.com. Make sure you go to the PTR 10.0.7 patch tab. So this is the one that's coming out in 2 weeks. Go to Tools, Talent Calculator, Shaman, and then pick Resto, and then you'll be able to see the talents for that are going to be coming out in the next 2 weeks. So I haven't tested any of this, just as an FYI, in terms of numbers or any kind of data around it. I'm just thinking that based on reading the talents and kind of how I like to play a Shaman, I think this is going to be what I'm going to be playing the first week of the patch when it comes out, kind of trying it out. Things may change and kind of move around if I don't like the feel of something, or if something becomes better. But for now, I think this is what I'm going to be playing. So I'm going to kind of quickly go through, explain why I chose some of these, and then also point out the optional ones or some of the flex picks that can change based on the situations. So starting on the left-hand side of the tree, or the Shaman tree, this top row is pretty standard. It's the same as it is now. I'd say these three are probably a flex pick. They did buff the Thunderous Paws talent, so I will enjoy this talent, especially on some of these boss fights where you have to dodge mechanics in terms of funnels or swirlies or anything that you have to dodge. This used to only be able to proc once every minute, but now they made it so that it procs every 20 seconds now. So it's a pretty substantial buff to this talent. And for these two, they did actually make Astral Shift last 12 seconds now. So that's sort of a baseline buff to just Astral Shift lasting longer. So now this talent, you either can have the cooldown be 30 seconds shorter, or you can have it reduce additional damage. So I think a lot of people will pick the cooldown reduction, since by default it already has 40%. So this could be something that if there's a lot of trash pulls, or if it's a fast dungeon and you need this up more often, then you want to pick Plains Traveler. If it's a fight like Herja maybe, or if there's like a boss fight that this is going to be a heavy damage fight that you just need that extra mitigation, then you could play Bulwark. Or if you want the movement, again, pick Thunderous Paws. On an explosive week, Shaman's are great at killing the orbs because Frost Shock just one-shots them. So on that week, I'll usually forego these two, and I may pick up Frost Shock instead. But these three up here are pretty much a flex pick. Brimming with Life is a nice talent. It's a flat 8% health buff as long as the reincarnation is off cooldown. This used to be down here in the tree. Now they moved it up, so now it's easier to get to. I think this is pretty standard. It's only 1 point, and it gives you a flat healing buff. This can kind of help you survive a boss mechanic, something like that. So this is really strong. This should be pretty much taken all the time. Purge is pretty standard. I know not every dungeon has a need for it, so if you don't need Purge, then you can not play that. But for the most part, I would just like to have that. Across here is pretty standard. I like having some extra fire damage. I like having some extra leech and some damage reduction to AoE attacks. I have been playing with this recently, and I do enjoy this. It allows you to have Earth Shield on yourself as well as on the tank. So you get that Earth Shield 20% healing buff on yourself, which is nice. And then they did change Earth and Harmony to now make Earth Shield reduces your damage by taken by 6%. So the fact that you've got Earth Shield on yourself, which means that you heal yourself for 20% extra, and you take a flat 6% damage reduction, is very nice. So I'm gonna play with those three talents, but I'm gonna be playing with Elemental Orbit. They did change Swirling Currents, so this used to be a talent where every time we drop Healing Stream, the next few healing spells would be buffed. Now they got rid of that and they made this to where it's a flat healing buff on your Healing Stream totem. Healing Stream totem is probably I think it's my third or fourth most highest healing ability in the dungeon. So having a 20% buff to that healing is real pretty good. So I'm gonna probably play with this, even though it's been changed. I'll see how it is, but I think this is gonna be a pretty good talent. Purify again is optional if the dungeon doesn't have any curses, or you need to spend that point somewhere else, maybe up here, maybe you get get that, swap this around back to Thunder's Paws. And now if you don't need Purge, you can maybe pick up one of these talents, but this is going to be another flex pick, and you can pick that up. This talent's the same as before pretty much. I like having one of these. I like Earth Grab Totem for kiting mobs. It's really powerful for that. If you don't need to kite mobs, you can always use Wind Rush Totem for some extra movement. And then let me go down, and this is all pretty standard, like what I have now on live. But so what does change is going to be down here. So like I mentioned before, I do like going down here for Gust of Wind, and it's just like a utility thing. It doesn't really help with any healing or anything, but being able to dodge mechanics and reposition and reduce fall damage. If you use this right before you hit the ground, it minimizes and gets rid of all the fall damage that you would have taken. So this is pretty nice to have. It's optional, but I do enjoy that. This side's pretty standard here. I do take this now. Having sort of flat magic reduction is nice for a lot of the unavoidable damage in Magic. I am picking up Thunderstorm now. So before I didn't have enough points to pick this. I chose to pick some other talents instead. I know a lot of Shamans at higher keys play this, but I just never picked it. Now that we have a couple points freed up, I'm gonna actually be picking Thunderstorm paired with Thundershock. So Thunderstorm knocks enemies away from you, which is not that great in Mythic Plus because you don't want them to aggro other packs. But with Thundershock talent, it changes this so that instead of a knock away, it knocks the mobs up. So this is just an AoE interrupt pretty much. And there's a lot of mobs that have to be kicked, a lot of mobs have to be stunned or interrupted, and having Shamans have this is really nice. And it's a 25-second cooldown. It's not that long, so I'm going to be playing this. They did swap AG and Swiftness around. I'm still going to pick both of them. I think 1 point in AG is nice just to have an extra spread healing talent. And then Mana Spring, I don't see any need for this. I don't know why you'd pick this. So I'm going to pick Crystal Spirit. It's always nice to have some movement speed, and the move while casting cooldown reduction is nice. So I'm going to pick that. Again, everything else is pretty standard. I'm going to skip Totemic Focus. I don't think that I use totems that much to get value out of this. This buffs your Tremor, Poison Cleansing, Earthen Wall, and Healing Stream. And out of all those, all we use is one of the 4 or 5 totems that it buffs. So I think this kind of loses the value out of that. And again, the same with this. Like, we don't use that many totems, so we have value from this. I think this is stronger to have. This combo is nice, and to have Gust of Wind, I'll prefer this more. So this set's pretty standard. I'd say these 3 are pretty open to changing, and Purify Spirit. I'll have to see how these play out. But those are sort of the flex picks for me. And besides that, this is pretty standard for me. I think I'm going to pick this. The right-hand side's got a little bit more questions about this. So for the most part, it's pretty standard. I know a lot of Shamans pick this for that damage bonus. I don't really like Stormkeeper. I don't really like the play style of it. So I am going to not pick this again. But it is strong to have a sort of a bonus damage talent in there for 1 point. So if that's something that you like to play with or want some more damage, you can always pick that. They did make Water Shield baseline. So we used to have to pick Water Shield and then pick Resurgence. It would cost us 2 points to get this. Now that Water Shield's baseline, 1 point we can get this. This I'd say is optional. It's not huge, but I think for 1 point, having us able to get a little bit more mana back and maybe last a little bit longer before we have to drink is kind of nice. So I'll probably pick that up for 1 point. Vigor is pretty standard. Acid Rain did get nerfed by quite a lot, by 20%. So I know right now it's crazy on live. There's so much damage. They are bringing that down. I think people will still play it. I'm still going to play it and try it out. So I'm going to go with that. Everything else here is pretty standard. I'm going to pick Reach. And I'm going to kind of go down into why I picked that. But I think Chain Heal is going to be pretty valuable in 2 weeks, even more so than it is now. So I'm going to pick this to kind of buff Chain Heal. This is all pretty standard. They did add this. This is a new node that they just added. I'm not sure how this is going to work. I said I haven't tested this out in the PTR. I haven't tested this with any kind of numbers. But whenever we use Healing Tide Totem, it sounds like the one with the least, every time it pulses, the target with the least amount of health, it heals them for 30% more. And they also get increased healing from us for 4 seconds. So I think something like a Herja fight, where it's a lot of AoE pulsating damage on the whole team, this could actually be kind of nice to allow us to heal the team more. Again, I don't know if it's going to play out that way, but I think I'm going to try that out when it comes out. Awakening is nice, just some free healing whenever you crit somebody. This got buffed by 10%. So I kind of like having just crit heals apply some spread healing to the team. So I'm going to pick this as well. I'm going to keep playing with that. Like I mentioned before, Earthen Harmony got buffed to actually now has a 6% DR on it, which is really nice that we have some damage reduction at least. So I'm going to pick that. And again, Ascendance is default. So this is the big talent change, I think, that is going to change how Shaman plays in M+. So this used to be a PvP talent, and now they brought it into our talent tree. And what this does is every 8 seconds, so it's 2 points, and at max, it's every 8 seconds, the cast time of a Chain Healer is reduced by half, and it buffs the jump distance by double, and has 2 charges. So this talent plus Reach plus High Tide is going to make Chain Heal insane to use. Even without High Tide, just having a 8 second sort of fast cast Chain Heal to kind of help spread some of the healing around is going to be really nice. I think it's going to really help us with that sort of AoE issues where we don't have when the team's taking a lot of damage and we don't have our cooldowns up. I'm going to try this out, play with this, see how it goes, but I think this is going to be nice. In terms of the right side of the tree here, I'm going to be skipping this Earth-Living Weapon. Again, it's nice, but I think having Tidebringer, kind of maybe using Chain Heal more will kind of fill the gap of the spread healing of this. As well as Downpour. I do like Downpour. I think it's a great talent in terms of thematically playing with Resto Shaman, and the healing is okay. It's not crazy. It's not terrible. For 1 point, it's nice. But again, I think this is going to sort of fill that sort of spread healing situation. So I'm going to skip these two on behalf of this. And then Earthen Wall Totem is a nice talent. I do like playing Earthen Wall Totem, but I think just nowadays when I'm plugging keys, there's a lot of things that people have to move from and dodge, and they end up moving out of it anyways. So I've thought to just skip this, especially because we have to actually spend 2 points in this to get Earthen Wall Totem. So it's a 3 point investment. So I think I'm just gonna have to skip this side pretty much of the tree and kind of go more towards this side. Again, I haven't tried this in any live environment. I haven't done any testing of this yet, but so this might change. But I think for now, this is what I'm gonna pick in the 2-week patch when it comes out. So if anyone has any questions on why I'm picking certain things, or any of the questions, leave them down in the comments below. But I think this is what I'm gonna be playing.